Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm very excited to be able to get back into some Ninja Woodfire videos because that means that I can upload them for your viewing pleasure, and I get to eat the family gets to eat what I've cooked as well, so it's win-win. As you can probably see here in the UK, I'm back from work and it's not the best of weather, so we'll try and get this filmed before the light goes, but it also just highlights the versatility of the Ninja Woodfire in that we can get nice barbecued food in probably around about 20-25 minutes, making sure, of course, that all our meats are cooked properly. I haven't uploaded a video in quite a while. The summer was a bit barren for content because we're having some work done on the house, which thankfully is now complete. And I used that time for a bit of a project. So the arbour there that the grill is situated in as its nice new home was a bit of a restoration project. If that's your thing, then I uploaded a video, and don't worry, it's not kind of a series of me sanding each panel. It's a quick kind of from start to finish video. I'm actually quite pleased with the end results. Right, let's get on with the cook, because when I'm cooking for the family, I say I'm going to do a barbecue and the gimbal comes out and the camera, it's a bit of a standing joke that we'll probably eat 3 hours later. So let's crack on. Quick reminder, we'll go over the functions in a bit more detail once we've set this going. But a couple of things that we need to do from the outset is the hopper there that I filled with pellets. We've put into the smoker there. Make sure that's nice and full. It needs to reach the top for the heating element to heat them and for the smoker to start. We have gone for our trusted grill function. That's going to give us a high temperature preset and a 60-minute cook. Once we press the start button, we're going to get the preheat message on screen there. Now that's going to take, I think, about 3-4 minutes to get that hot plate up to a temperature where we can add our meat. We'll then be prompted, as we are with each stage of the cook, to add our food, and then halfway through the cook time to flip it as well. The other thing that we want to get going is the smoker, and this little baby is where the magic happens. So the woodfire flavour technology is what gives our food that barbecue taste, and that's through the hopper here. So let's press that as well. And you'll also get an extra, it's a bit out of focus actually, but it's very clear when I'm looking at it, so apologies for that. You will get, okay, that might be better. You will get an on-screen prompt that shows that it's going through the ignition process. And of course, you'll start to see smoke coming out of the hopper here as well. So this is essentially, if you're not familiar with the Ninja Woodfire, you've essentially got a grill, so you can use it without the hopper, the smoker there, just to grill your food. It's a bit like the old George Foreman's in that you've got your tray on. Actually, while I think of that, we'll just take off the crisper basket. We're going to be cooking on the flat plate here. Reason for that is just purely that I'm lazy. It's just easier to clean. And so whilst the ridged one that comes with the unit gives those kind of char grilled kind of effects, you still get the same flavour with the hot plate. I think it's largely intended for the kind of griddle cooking, eggs, bacon, that sort of thing, but it works perfectly well with the chicken. I suppose with the ridged one, you've not got the chicken skin touching all of the surfaces. So you've got a bit of air under there. It probably helps to crisp it up. What you can do if you'd like, that's our light coming on in the background. It is motion censored, so apologies if there's any flicker in there. But the crisper basket, what I tend to do, again, pure laziness in that I don't want to spend ages cleaning it, is I'll probably wait until the chicken's almost cooked, and if I want to give it that final crisp, then I'll pop it in the basket, because at that point then it's not going to stick to it, especially if, like we have here, we've already marinated our meat. So onto the meat itself, we have some peri-peri sauce. So if you're familiar with the channel, you'll be familiar with that. We like a bit of peri-peri sauce around here. We have one chicken leg, and we have a couple of pieces of probably don't pick up very well on the camera just looking at it, of drumstick meat, which I think is a really good alternative to chicken thighs. It's very tasty, and let's just make sure that's heating up. Yeah, it's very tasty and surprisingly cheap actually. So getting back to the unit itself, you can probably see from that angle without me lifting it that the filament there in the hopper is glowing. You see a bit of smoke. That means that the pellets are starting to catch. Now if you want to be a bit tight with those, unfortunately it won't work. So as I say, if you're only half filling the hopper, then it's not reaching the filament and you won't get any smoke. You can at any point during your cook press the woodfire flavour technology button to make sure that those are still happily burning away. And actually one scoop of those will, if you're barbecuing back to back, probably do, say, maybe 3 different goes. And by goes, I mean on the preset. So to elaborate on the presets, as you probably saw there, each of these functions has a preset linked to it. So we have it on the grill function. That's a high temperature and a 16-minute cook. That's after the preheat function. Of course, the grill doesn't know what you're putting on there or what quantity. So it's not an absolute guarantee that the meat that you put on is going to be cooked to perfection. So as always, whenever you're cooking meat and barbecuing, a thermometer is a good investment to make sure that you're not going to poison anybody. Of course, if you're cooking smaller bits of meat like that, you can check it without the thermometer. But particularly if we're going to be using the smoker function and putting big chunks of meat on there for quite a while, I just want to make sure that it's cooked through. So the preheat function there, the ignition one's already kicked in. We can see the smoke coming from the hopper. I can smell that delicious smell as well. The preheat is going to get our griddle up to temperature. We've got a set of tongs over here because we're going to be using raw meat. So once we've got the chicken onto the Ninja, we'll then go and give those a wash before we then start handling the meat. So what I'll do is, rather than try and film the whole thing in real time, we'll go through a kind of recap and then I'll do the reveal as we open it up. So generally speaking, chicken of this size, and obviously the drumstick's going to cook a bit quicker, it is pretty much cooked within that time. The other good thing about the unit, when I talk about ease of use, there's many things there. Primarily the fact that you are getting that barbecue flavour from an electric barbecue. And so that doesn't mean ages waiting for coals to get to the right temperature. And if you're anything like me, you're never that patient and end up putting food on and potentially it not being the tastiest because it's cooked too much on the outside and not the inside. Also, the clean down afterwards of a cold barbecue is a pain when you should really be relaxing. On the other end of the spectrum, we've got the gas barbecue. We do have a gas burner. I think it's a 6 burner, but honestly, since we got the Ninja, I've never used it. So again, with that, you get an instant barbecue. You still do get some of that cleaning. So you've got to take the grill plates off, especially if you've got marinated sauces and things like that. And you don't get the barbecue flavour. So it's almost like having an oven outdoors. With this, you basically get all those functions in one. So you've got yourself a bit of an oven there with the grill roast functions and bake, of course, down there. We also have, obviously, the smoker box there, but we also can use it as an air fryer. In terms of the capacity, this is a standard model. So in there, don't know whether that will pick up very well on the camera, but I'd say there's enough grill space there to feed a family of my size, which is a family of 3. And they do an XL version. I believe that also has a built-in thermometer, and you can do all kinds of fancy things, so you can regulate your temperature via an app. And I think that's probably more relevant if you're then a hardcore smoker And by that, I don't mean that you've got a 20 a day habit. I mean that, especially for some of the our friends across the pond there who have been wonderful and have subscribed and added some really nice comments. They're the kings of barbecue, aren't they? So they love smoking the meat. And I've tried to do that with my videos. I've tried to put in as much versatility as possible. So we've gone from stuff that we've really put some TLC into, big joints of meat, and left them on low and slow, right the way through to just like literally shop bought gammon, where we put it on there with nothing but seasoning and left it to do its business, right the way through actually to pizza. So I know Ninja do a pizza oven. This one, it's not designed for that. Honestly, the trickiest thing was getting the pizza dough from the board onto the grill itself. Once it was on there, piece of cake. And it was literally a 5-minute cook. I also showed that you could do a barbecue in your lunch break. So as we'll see here, you can cook chicken within half an hour if that's your lunch break. If you're so inclined, if you love barbecues that much. But all that aside, honestly, the main attraction for me is the ease of use. And the other thing that I was going to say at the start of this and I've left to the end is the clean down afterwards. So yesterday I got the grill out, and the reason you didn't see that footage is that I had a bit of an accident. So I was filming, and I'm trying to do now, I'm moving around the area which has the bench set, so around here, and unfortunately came a bit of a cropper on that step. And not only did I miraculously escaped, so I'm not injured, but I did damage my DJI microphones, which I've got to hopefully improve the audio quality. So I hope this one is okay. We've got a replacement part on the way. And I'm also now filming with a proper DJI gimbal, which is excellent in terms of stability, and it should hopefully improve some of the jaunty filming I've done. I am still using it one-handed, or cooking and filming at the same time. So it does have a tripod, but I don't really want to be in my own videos at the moment. That being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop you down over here so that we can get an angle where I can put the food on, where I'm not necessarily dominating it. So let's just change that for you. There we go. So that I can get this meat onto the grill. So it's now saying that we can add the food. So we'll get the chicken drumstick on first, or the chicken leg I should say. So we should hear that sizzle once it hits the barbecue. There we are. Excuse me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save some of that lovely marinating juice there. I'll just change the angle again. I'm going to save some of those lovely marinating juices just to put on the chicken at the end. So whilst it's cooking initially, you want to give that a chance to crisp up. Because it's got the marinade on, it's going to brown quite quickly. So rather than waiting to flip when it gets halfway through the cook, which is what the Ninja will helpfully prompt us to do, I will be checking on that quite regularly and flipping it over so that we get that wonderful crispy skin. Probably, I'm not sure actually, I'd usually put it on the crisper basket, So if it's not been marinated, you will get easily really nice, tender, juicy chicken with a crispy skin without needing to use the crisper basket. But you can, of course, finish it off in there. It's really about your taste. So the unit itself overall, as I've said, it's incredibly versatile, it's incredibly well made. I am a fan of the Ninja products, and we've got quite a few now in our kitchen. I believe I may have put a quick video up on the Ninja slushy, which is exactly as it sounds. It's a slushy maker, whereas the other ones you've got to put bowls in your freezer, and there's lots and lots of different preparation, a bit like ice cream makers as well. They sound really good, but it's a lot of work. With the slushy, you just literally put your mixture in. There's quite a lot of sugar needed, so it's not the healthiest of things, but in the summer that was incredible. The Ninja air fryer was our saviour throughout the summer after having extensive work done to the kitchen, and almost became a cooker. So we've got that in the kitchen as well. What else did we get? We have the Ninja blender. So that, well, actually it's a soup maker. So that one again, as with the Ninja products, it's just about ease of use. So yes, you can use any blender to put some vegetables in to make a soup and then warm it up. This does it all for you. So you can put it in quite kind of coarsely chopped. It will go through a function to blend it. It will then kind of saute it a little bit to release the flavours, and then you can add your stock or whatever, and it'll go through a timed process to then make soup. And you can choose from thick soups right the way through to smooth ones. And the other good thing, if you enjoy a bit of a tipple in summer or even cocktails, then the slushy machine will accept alcohol, as will I once it's made it. So you can have wonderful ice cocktails in there as well. Another thing that we had that isn't Ninja branded was the Philips Perfect Draft, which I believe I did a video on that. Just so go and check that out if you're interested. That is a beer keg where you get pub quality ales at half the price, and yeah, that was nice as well. So in terms of the setup that we've got here, I'm just conscious that it's going a bit dark and I don't want to trip over the wires again like I did yesterday, but just our general setup. The Ninja table that you can see, I purchased that on Marketplace at a knockdown cost. Someone had been delivered to, I believe. So this one was pretty much brand new. We got one side table on there, which you can either screw down to make it sturdy enough to put heavy stuff on. I haven't bothered with that because I'm just really putting plates and cooking utensils. And so it's just easy, it just literally lifts off. The Ninja table itself has extendable legs, so you can store it easier. You can adjust your cooking height. The only real negative that I can find to pass on is the length of the cable for the Ninja woodfire. It's not very generous at all. Let's wait so that light comes on. And so that does lead to the need for an extension lead. So I do have an outdoor socket here, and I know in one of the videos someone quite rightly commented on safety. Now the plug for the Ninja comes with a cutout switch should anything go wrong, and the extension lead that I use also has that cutout switch. So I think we're covered from that perspective. I wouldn't leave it outside, obviously, and I wouldn't use it in the rain. The arbor provides some shelter, but it's by no means watertight. So the Ninja itself doesn't stay out over here or in here. It might do if we get a nice run of dry days, which is quite unusual in the UK. So it's not a permanent home, and so that leads us on seamlessly to the carry bag. So this isn't a Ninja branded product. We did buy this off Amazon. I did a video, and I think there might have been an affiliate link, so I'll just say that just to cover myself, just in case there is. I did a brief review video on that. It's the perfect size to put your Ninja into. And it's got this front plate is where I store the extra grill cover. So the unit itself comes with a ridge one. You saw the flat plate that I have used for today's cook, and it's got a couple of side pockets. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep an eye on this chicken, and I'm going to come back to you through the magic of editing once it's all done. So as you can see, it's got dark pretty quickly here, and that's without me kind of rambling and doing 50 takes and turning a 15 or, well, half an hour barbecue into a 3-hour one. But you can see that I put some lovely decorations around the arbour. We've got some lights there, we've got a centre light behind it. I might get something wired actually, so that we can potentially do some barbecues with a little bit better lighting. But that being said, we're going to be doing most of this in the summer when we'll have some good light anyway. Just wanted to get some content out on there, given that these are the first barbecues of 2026 after we finally got our kitchen done. I had talked on the channel about potentially doing some more indoor stuff when the weather wasn't so great, and I've mentioned earlier in the video a couple of the products that we've got. So now that it doesn't look like a bomb site, we can potentially move into those sorts of categories. If there's any of those products that you'd like to hear me talk about in a little bit more detail, maybe you're thinking of buying one yourself, or you've already got one and can pass on some some suggestions, and they'd be most welcome. I'm probably going to end the video here. I'll open up the grill so you can see where we're up to, but I'm not sure how well it's going to pick up given the light, so I'll do that. That was a bit more like disco chicken than barbecue, wasn't it? But as always, I'd just like to thank anyone who's taken the time to watch the video. Oh, jaunty angle there. Anybody that's taken the time to watch the video. I do intend to get a lot more barbecuing done now that our house is in order. I might do some actually where we get the tripod down and I can do the cooks, maybe even be in the video. I'm not overly eager on doing that. I don't want to be the star of my own shows. But it just might improve the quality of what we can film. Yeah, as always, thank you for watching. I'm going to go and eat my lovely barbecued chicken. And I hope that if you have a grill, you're getting as much enjoyment out of it as I am. Please do keep those comments coming. And those subscribers that I had, thank you very much. Hope you stayed with me. And anybody that's watching these videos for the first time, you hit that button, then it really helps me out more than you can know.